Howdy folks, Salt earlier and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're 42% done with the Aloha Hawaii bush trip. It's part of the Oceania World Update. And it'll be our last bush trip until the next World Update, which is in the end of June, I believe. And there will be more bush trips because during the live stream they said they hired more people to make the bush trips even better. So we'll see what that means for us. We're doing 2 legs per video, so this video will be legs 4 and 5. I assume you've already seen the other 2 videos, so you know what's going on. So what am I waiting for? Let's get going. Alright, like usual, we come down here, repair and refuel, and in this case, we'll turn the pitot heat on because it's coming back to the sim after leaving. Let's reset the flaps. In case you haven't seen other videos for some reason, maybe just looking for a certain leg or something, we are doing this completely manually because we have no GPS, no map in the sim, and no autopilot, so we're hand flying using the VFR map if we need to. But I've done plenty of Hawaii flights, and this is probably one of the easiest bush trips we've ever done. So we're not using the VFR map. We're just flying. It's kind of obvious where to go using the nav log. Pretty simple. So let's just enjoy the beach community, they call it. Looks like plenty of resorts there. Beautiful, beautiful scenery. This is like 9.5 out of 10, which means I've seen slightly better, but this is way up there. Way, way up there. It didn't start out that way. When we went over Honolulu and Pearl Harbor, it looked really awful, but the rest of this has been pretty amazing, so that is cool. Alright, not much else to do in the airplane, so let's read what we're doing. Take off from the airport and trace the coastline to the northeast and reach the resort town of Kapalua, which I just showed you that from the drone. So let's keep reading here. From there, fly inland on a due east heading. Notice 80 degrees. It says, even though due east is 90, right? Let's reset the drift for the gyro. So it's not interesting because of where we are, I guess. This is the northernmost part of the island of Maui. It is characterized by stunning and dramatic mountains and coastline. So we'll do that. And then I guess quickly after that, so let's keep reading here. Skirt the coastline, admiring the views of the shore to the ocean, and the dramatic inland mountains to reach Kahului, the most populous city on Maui. And then when we get there, we'll read about what's next. So without further ado, we'll take off the parking brake, rev it up a little bit, even though we have plenty of runway. I'm still in like the New Guinea bush trip mode from a couple weeks ago. Yeah, how long has it been? Yeah, a couple of weeks since I've flown that already. Wow, time goes fast. Oofta doofta. Alrighty, here we go. We're gonna lift off in a second, just like that, and off the rudders. There we go. Brakes us out the wheels. Gears fixed. Flaps coming in already. Let's look out like we usually do into the forest. Which means I have an update on my getaway trip I'm trying to plan. I think I mentioned briefly in another bush trip that my wife gets away quite frequently. She goes on exotic trips once or actually twice a year with her mom, and then other trips in between for conferences for her career, and then she'll extend the stay with a friend or two and travel a lot, all without kids and without me. The without me doesn't bother me, but without kids is kind of interesting because I have never been on a trip without kids, and it's been 14 years now. So I'm like, I want to get away, and my health prevents things from happening, and finding friends to do stuff with me prevents things from happening, and finding people who have similar interests to me, you know, because my friends like to travel, like, let's go to Italy, let's go to Mexico, let's go to Atlanta, I don't know, but I'm like, I can't do those things. So, I have an idea. It was easier than I thought, right? Because instead of complaining, I'm the type of person that just say, shut up and make it happen, Captain. So, as we climb out of here and head around the coast, we're just literally tracing the coast to Kahului or whatever, while we have this mountain in the background. My wife's friend, who's like a really good friend of mine too, completely platonic, don't worry. We're going to go on a secluded cabin trip. I want to go completely rustic, but she doesn't want to. She's never been anywhere besides a hotel in her life, and she's 49 years old. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a quasi rustic cabin. It'll have a bathroom inside, but hopefully not a kitchen, and we're just going to go. And state parks are booked out a year or two in advance in Minnesota, sometimes 2 years in advance. So So what we're going to do is find like an Airbnb type cabin, which I'm reluctant, but that's what's available. But they're cheap, like $80 a night or less. And some of them are very secluded, where you're like in the woods on like 50 or 60 acres. You're the only building, the only people for like 60 acres in the woods. That's a possibility. Something on a lake or river is a possibility. There are cabins where you're like on small cliffs with glass on one side and no curtains, so when you're sleeping you look out over the trees. So lots of possibilities. There's probably 80 or 90 possibilities within an hour's drive from where I live. So that's my plan, because I wanted to get to a beach, but I've been to a beach 5 or 6 times. I've never enjoyed the beach. Never have I enjoyed the beach. But the woods, even though I'm scared of animals, the woods are fun. So, yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do this summer. Hopefully twice. Hopefully with my wife's friend / my friend. And hopefully with one of my best friends, who's totally wild and crazy. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, so that's my plan. And I just wanted to talk about it because it's exciting. And we're just flying around an island right now with lots of trees. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute. I'm going to try to get you some sightseeing views, but it's pretty turbulent. I'll do the best I can. And check out that big valley, and I'll see you in a second. Alright, there's a city in front of us. It says to fly inland and based on the hit. It wants us to fly like over this part right here to get to the other side. But we're just going to go around it and stay. Because I don't want to gain like 9,000 feet. What are we at now? Yeah, like 9,000, 10,000 feet. I'm enjoying this altitude. And I like driving. I like flying below the level of the terrain anyway. I think it's more interesting. Unless we're intentionally going above mountains to get a bird's eye view, airplane eye view. But holy cow, this is turbulence. We go over that rocky, not rocky, but cliff-faced coast. Man. Well, there we go. Check that out. Oofta. Anyway, our city's coming up here in just a moment. Kahului, I think. Maybe we're a GoPro or something. I don't know how I got outside. Normally, these are solid objects and you can't leave the airplane with the camera, but we did. So anyway, we'll enjoy this view since we got it. It's really cool how you can see across the island between the mountains. And that's a really big city. I don't think I could cycle around that one. I could cycle from point to point and then take a break and come back, but not cycling around that one. More islands in the distance too. I guess let's check out this mountain while we're here. And then this one over here is a lot higher. So now, let's hop back inside. We're going to head around this way to get to our next city, which was called what? Kaini. So we're going to head around. So instead of going this way over this, we're going to go around it. And then from there, we continue to land at Hana. I don't think I read this, did I? Fly over the southeast, passing over the road. Yeah, I did. Over the forest, yep. And then continue on the southeast heading to land at Hana Airport. I don't think it's Hana, I think it's Hana. So let's fly around the forest and see if we can see the forest through the trees and land at Hana. See you when we get there. Alright, beautiful coastline. We're actually going to head up more in that direction so you can start coming down a little bit, because I believe our airport is right in this area, I think. At least I'm pretty confident it's in that area. And I don't want to be 7,000 feet up when we get there. So, you gotta come down a little bit, and we're just getting blown all over the place, man. Good grief. So I want to make it out to the coast here, so we can settle down, start coming down, and land this airplane. To conclude this leg, of course we'll do the next leg in this video as well. But, first we gotta get out of this turbulence. This is crazy. It doesn't look like much to you when you watch it, I'm sure, but it's pretty wild. So we'll have some final looks at the volcanic mountains before we figure out where this airport actually sits. It's smoother now because we're getting over the water. We might get our last bump, because normally we get like a big bump before we get completely over the water, but we're slowly coming down in altitude. We'll have to come down more than that. And I'm waiting for airport to render in. I have some guesses, but I don't quite see it yet. And then we'll do a quick look with the drone out to the ocean and back. Whoop, we need to control our plane here. There we go. I know that's probably loud. You can probably hear it through my microphone too, microphone bleed, but there you go. Beautiful. Alright, let's put the drone back, hop inside, and let's find this airport. Whoa, that carved out valley is crazy. Look how wide that thing is. That's awesome. Clearly lava flow at one point. Holy moly. That's super awe-inspiring, isn't it? So is the ocean, but that was especially awe-inspiring. I love these steep cliffs. So you have these sandy, beautiful beaches, and then you also have these cliffs, just depending where you are, which island, which side. Man, I still wish I lived by my neighbor friend who's from Hawaii. I would ask her so many more questions after doing this bush trip. I have so many questions. Still no airport for sure, but things are still rendering it up there, so we'll have to give it a minute here. Let's just keep an eye on our vitals. Let's not come down below 4,500 feet until we know where we're going. Wait, did it just render in? Is it right here? No, I don't think so. So let's keep our speed up because we can, keep our altitude up a little bit. So I'm using throttles so we stop descending. I'm not changing the pitch of my aircraft. I will trim down a little bit though, so we, settle in at a slower speed. Use throttles to control our altitude. And where is this thing? Is it this? I can still see pixels rendering in as we go, but nothing that resembles an airport. And I'm just staring at the cliffs. I better pay attention to what we're doing here. I did just hit D, Delta, on my keyboard to reset my gyro drift, and it was actually drifted by about 8 or 9 degrees, which is a lot. Because remember, if you go, I can't remember what it is, I've told you before and I forgot. If you go a certain distance, if you're 1 degree off for a certain amount of time, you're going to be like 60 miles off or something. I can't remember. So, even though we're completely VFR, it is important to know where you're going. Still no airport. I'm confused. It's supposed to be like right here. Maybe it's the type of thing once we come around the trees. Oh, there it is. What? There it is. That was not where I expected it to be. I guess, yeah, it's along the water. How dumb am I that I didn't notice that? We're going to have to come in from the ocean side because we're way too high. Well, maybe well, no. 3,700 feet going around is not that high. Why does it feel like we're so high? I guess the train is really screwing with our perception. Perception. Both. I don't know. Alright, so we're going to come over right here. Then we'll actually do a right base. So we'll turn left to turn right. And then we'll come in from the ocean side. Yeah, that's in the right spot if you look at the image. But see, along the water here, I was expecting along the water here. Because I thought it was going to be closer to there. Anyway, whatever. Let's just land. We know what we're doing now. 3,400 feet. Let's make a left turn to join right base. So we're actually going to be doing downwind first. Checking out the mountain as we go. And there's a beacon now. I didn't see that before. Helpful though. Staring at the fishies, hopefully not swimming with them. Alright, are we parallel the runway? We're parallel the runway. So we're just going to keep this altitude. I don't know what pattern altitude is for this airport. We'll descend to about 2,500 feet. And then we'll make a base here in a minute. I'm also slowing down. So I'm bringing throttles back so we descend. But then to slow down, instead of pitching up, I'm just trimming back. And then the two together will slow us down and bring us down. And keep an eye on where we are. Once the end of that runway gets back there, we'll make our turn. So let's get down to about 2,000 now. We're at 2,600 and descending, so throttle's back even more. Just watch our speed. I'm going to use my yoke and pitch for speed. Stay just within the flap range there as we descend to about 2,000 feet. So this is all straightforward stuff, right? So people who want to know how to fly bush trip, you have to know this stuff first. I was on the forums once for, like, you know, the achievement forums or whatever, and people are like, I need a walkthrough on how to get an achievement for the bush trip. I'm like, fly the bush trip? They're like, but I need to know how to start the aircraft, even though it's already running. How do you fly it? I need every single step of every single thing you need to do to get this achievement. I'm like, learn how to fly a plane and then do the achievement. It's like, you can't. Like in other games, you can't do like mid-game achievements if you're just starting. You gotta know, you gotta work your way up to it. You gotta know how to do the game, you gotta know how to do the character and everything before you can jump in. Alright, you can make our base now, our right base, that's why it's right traffic. And 2 sets of flaps, I guess, a little early, but we're gonna do it. 1,500 feet, do not descend anymore until we know where we are. You can barely see, gotta tip the wing to look. Okay, that's a good base anyway. If we had a heading bug, we'd set the heading bug, and then when you're 90 degrees off, you know you're on base, but we don't have that. And let's make a angled approach here so I can see the dang runway. I'm going to keep it at 2 sets of flaps. Throttles back so we descend, nose down so we keep our speed. And considering all the little tiny mountain airports we've landed at over the bush trips, with no room for approach or anything, you just kind of see it, you dive down and land. It's kind of funny how much time I'm spending doing this, but it's been a long time since we had an easy bush trip with an easy airplane with easy runways, so kind of nice to talk through the basics sometimes. Ooh, look at that community. There's Hana right there, the town. We're outside of it here. No wind or anything. Let's just get a little lower than point at the numbers. A little bit of throttle, I guess. Because we're getting a little slow. We only have 2 sets of flaps out. And about to touch down. And this goes so well when I'm not looking out the windows. That's kind of funny. Anyway. A little high of approach, but that's totally okay. Alrighty. This is basically the threshold, so power to idle. Keep an eye on those numbers. And then we'll round out in a moment here. You can see the old 26 there. Round out. Some people say you don't actually flare in these aircraft, it's a round out. But whatever, you just soften your blow. And there we go. Boom. Those will down gently. Brakes to stop the wheels, flaps coming in. And let's say hi to Uncle Bob, shall we? Alright, simple enough. Leg 5, here we go. So I just flew most of this leg, realizing I didn't record any of it, which is weird because I haven't done that in years. So we took off in Hana airport, flew over Hana, which was beautiful. I'm so sorry. We looked for some waterfalls, which they weren't represented. And now we're heading over the channel. So let's read what's going on here. So we flew over the city, one of the most remote popular centers in all of Hawaii. It was established as a sugarcane production center and is today a tourism destination. And then from there, which was a really small city, but it was beautiful, but it was small. Of course, we flew to the coast to look for the waterfalls. They weren't represented in the sim. Now we're flying across the channel to Upolu, which I think is right here. From the falls, which we never could find, turn onto a south-southeast heading and fly out over the Aloha channel, which separates the island of Maui from the island of Hawaii, also called the Big Island. This channel, which is 30 miles wide and is over 6,000 feet deep at its deepest, experiences extreme winds due to a funneling effect between Maui and the island of Hawaii. Once across the channel, which will be in a moment, land at the airport which we're looking for. Once across the channel, land at the airport which we're looking for, which lies at the very northern end of the Big Island, so I'm thinking it's here. The Big Island, which lies 2,400 miles west-southwest of San Diego, California, is the largest and youngest of the islands of the state of Hawaii and the largest island in the United States. It is centered on the shield volcano Mauna Kea, which at 13,800 feet above sea level is the high point of the island and the state. It is also the tallest mountain on the planet when measured from its base under the ocean. The total height is 33,465 feet. So we're looking for an airport out here somewhere, and that's all I know. So I can't believe I wasn't recording. This was like 15 minutes or so. Huge bummer, because the city or the community of Hana was amazing. But yeah, I don't know. Huge bummer. But it wasn't that much different than what we already looked at. But anyway, I told some more stories too about finding a cabin for my friend and me to stay at. That isn't totally rustic. I promised her at least a toilet. But hopefully we have to cook our own food outside and all that. We'll see. And hopefully not have anybody else around that we can see. She would love it. She's never been anywhere but a hotel. So anyway, those are all the stories I told. I'm now staring at the reflection in the water. And we need to find this airport. So again, I apologize. I can't believe I didn't record. Whatever. I said it 3 times now. Don't need to say it again. And we're at 4,000 feet. Let's stay a little lower than that. And let's look for this airport, which might have just rendered in. Maybe. We'll see. No airport spotted yet, but it's there, because it says it is. A dark patch of green, and then along the water, there's a dark patch of green there. There's a dark patch there, but this blends in more like this. So I think it's going to be here, because see that light patch? There's a light patch there. I think this is where we're headed. If I spot it, we'll do a left traffic pattern, so we'll go to the right to turn left. Right, left base, left final. That's what I'm going to aim for. If I'm wrong, you'll adjust when we get there, but should be that simple. What's your altitude? Let's bring back throttle so we descend a little more, maybe 200 feet per minute. Hit D to adjust for gyro drift. There we go. And let's aim for that area and set up to land here. And if I'm wrong, I will let you know without any excuses. Well, since this is the antepenultimate leg, third from last, I totally forgot or missed my chance to say pre-antepenultimate leg, which is fourth to last. That was the last one, but this is antepenultimate. Next leg in the next video, leg 6, will be penultimate, of course, and then the last leg is the last or ultimate. So totally missed my chance there to use my big words that I like, but that's okay. You've all heard them before probably in my other videos. So while we come down here slowly and look for an airport, which is not rendered in, whoop, a bunch of city is rendered in, so I don't know, we'll find it somewhere. Maybe it's over here. Do you think that could be it? Yeah, look at Look at all the wind turbines and look at all the wind turbines. The colors don't match this, but you see all the wind turbines. I mean, there could be wind turbines there too. I don't know. We'll just get closer and wait till it renders in. But while we are descending, we better be descending. Yes, we are. Make sure you like the video so people know that we exist. Even if you don't normally like a video, just click the like button. That way people know we exist. Because the algorithm will be like, oh, there's activity on that video. Let's show more people. And subscribe so that you know when the next video comes out, because that's when the last 2 legs will be, is in the next video, concluding all of the bush trips up to this point with the Oceania World Update. And then when the next World Update comes out at the end of June, then I will do those bush trips as well, because during the live stream, well, for now it's a couple weeks ago, but as I record this, it happened recently. They said they're hiring more people to make the bush trips better, so they're going to keep adding bush trips. I think we're up to almost 40 bush trips, something like that right now. We've flown them all, so we'll keep flying them as long as they keep releasing them, as long as I have time. Time is of the essence. With my new job, I'm not able to stay up as late at night as I used to, so hopefully I don't get behind in the Formula 1 stuff, right? We're flying from track to track, then flying around the track. Hopefully I can keep up with that. But right now the matter at hand is to find this airport, which I do not see anywhere right now, unless it's this. And it's just the angle we're at. It's hard to tell if that's a runway. I mean, it could be. It doesn't really look like our image though, our reference image, but that certainly is a straight line with wind turbines behind it. So let's plan on that being our runway. So let's slow down. So we're going to nose up to slow down, but bring throttles back so we descend. Let's not slow down too much. I just wanted to descend steeply. Get comfortable in our chair so we're ready on the rudders, and let's get a better base here now that we have our descent managed and our speed managed. I mean, we're going to say that's the runway unless something else pops in, but as the other beacon has popped in, why didn't I see you from the other side of the channel? Normally you can see the beacons insanely far in this sim, but in this area we haven't. Alrighty, look at that beautiful landscape though. Good grief. Farmhouse in the middle there. Alrighty, that's where we're headed. First set of flaps. Another straightforward landing. So since I talked through the last one in detail, I'm not going to talk through this one other than the main essentials, like descending faster now. Getting ready to turn on to final. And now we're turning on to final. Not being distracted by the scenery, because that'll throw us off because it climbs up so gradually yet steeply. It'd be easy to approach the airport too high because you're looking at the wrong terrain. Do not do that. All right, 2 sets of flaps, so a little early on the second flap, or a little fast I should say. Do not use flaps as brakes, even though I am. I'll admit it. We have Pappy on this one. That's nice. That'll help a little bit. We do have a tree. So this makes this the most difficult landing in this bush trip, which is still an easy landing. Whoa, some turbulence as we cross over the shoreline. To be expected. Bring that nose down a little bit here so we descend while watching our speed. You normally don't point down to descend. You point down for speed, but my throttle's already back, so I can't do anything else. So let's do full flap on this one. There we go, coming in. More than enough space between those trees. Round out so we do not smack the ground. And there's a ground effect. Ooh, a lot of ground effect. And there we go. Gentle, gentle. Let it touch down on its own. Keep the yoke back so you do not hit the nose wheel down gently. There you go. Can you tell I put the nose wheel down so gentle? Brake, stop the wheels. Flaps coming in. And that should be it for this, hopefully. Where there's a save icon. Very good. And bring us to the, not the conclusion screen, but the end screen for the leg, please. Where are you? There you are. Okie dokie. Already did my outro, so make sure you subscribe so you know when the final 2 legs drop, and I'll see you then.